just finished up the scrimmage, came straight to the field. Productive day, worked a lot of situations, moving the ball, some special teams work, third down period, red area, goal line, 2-minute, all that. So got a lot of really good work today, probably close to 100 plays, I guess, when it was all said and done. Typical scrimmage, some good, some bad. Offensively, started slow, did some good things towards the end, saw some guys make some one-on-one plays. Defensively, same thing. Turnovers, thought the defense did a great job today of rallying to the ball and causing some turnovers, knocking the ball loose, fumbles, things like that. Just got to play smarter, cleaner football all the way around. But overall, pleased with the day, just from an injury standpoint going into today. A couple new things since the last time we talked is Joey Hunter and Jamar Brown are a little banged up. They didn't fully participate today. Nothing major at all. Expect both those guys back next week. We just held them out of the scrimmage today. Not sure the extent of them, but Trey Atkins, Hank Manos, and Rick Sandage got banged up a little bit in the scrimmage today. Haven't heard anything. Don't think it's anything serious, but those are the only issues today. And then obviously the big elephant in the room is Luke Doty and his situation. He got stepped on in practice yesterday in one of the very last periods on a red zone play. Got stepped on, continued on, ran the ball in for a touchdown actually. After practice, foot started bothering him. He got a ton of tests done this morning. Right now, it's a sprain in that foot. Thank God it's not as serious as we thought. He's questionable, I would say, for the first game right now. It is not season-ending. And he's in great spirits. He was out here today at the scrimmage, and then left to get some rehab work done to get it started to accelerate that process. But we'll reevaluate here in a couple weeks. But Luke's in great spirits, and optimistic he'll be able to play in the first game. But if he's not, it'll be shortly after that. And the team is in great spirits. I know there was a lot of doom and gloom. I saw and heard a lot about how the hopes of our season hinged on the results of an MRI. And frankly, that's bullcrap. We've got a hell of a football team. And whether one guy's in or out, we got 117 other guys that are ready to step up no matter who's out. We got Kevin Harris out right now. We haven't it's not doom and gloom right now. It's a great opportunity for everybody else. Cam Smith is out right now. He's working hard to get back and to overcome that. And we got a great group of guys that, frankly, I'm glad they don't listen to the outside narrative, because the outside narrative, from what I was told today, was all doom and gloom and the season's over and, oh my gosh, what are we going to do now? What we would have done if we had gotten bad news on Luke is we would have come right out here and had a hell of a scrimmage this afternoon and gotten ready for Eastern Illinois, which is exactly what we did. Luke feels the same way. The entire team is excited about what we have going on. The entire team is excited about where we are as a program right now and what we're doing in preseason camp. And the entire team is excited and cannot wait for practice this week and then September 4th in Williams-Brice Stadium, myself included. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Please use the raise hand function. We'll get to you as we can. David with the first one.
Hey, Shane, thanks for doing this. With Luke's absence, who took the majority of the first team snaps today at quarterback?
Jason Brown did today. Jason Brown worked some at quarterback. Connor Jordan worked some at quarterback. Colton Gauthier worked some at quarterback, and no reason to hide it. Let's give these teams something to work for. To Carolina Joyner worked a little bit at quarterback today, so we got some really good quarterbacks in our program, and let's just eliminate any of the message board chatter and rumors and things like that. Carolina Joyner played some quarterback today. He may play some quarterback in the first game. So Eastern Illinois, East Carolina, Georgia, whoever we play until Luke gets back, be ready, because we've got that element in our offense also.
Mike Huva.
Hey, Shane, I know that, it's easy to look at the quarterback position, but any position, I know it's always being open. It's an open competition. But from a quarterback standpoint, how do you evaluate in terms of first team reps with Luke being out right now? And is that something you feel not just, with Jason and Colton, but do you feel like that'll be something you guys will rotate, for these next couple of weeks as you reevaluate Luke's status?
Yeah, we'll go in. I mean, right now we just felt like, through by me, first of all, me saying Jason Brown took the reps at first team quarterback. I mean, that's just how it was today. It's not like we came in and said Jason Brown's the starting quarterback right now and away we go. We haven't. We're nowhere near that point right now. He got a lot of reps, but I mean, it was Colton and Connor got a ton of reps today and did a lot of really good things. So we'll go in here as soon as I finish this. We'll get back over across the street and watch the practice video as an offensive staff, defensive staff, special team staff, and see how guys played. And we are about competition, and we play in 3 weeks, and there's a whole lot can happen between now and September 4th. And Jason's done a nice job. He took those reps today because he's made a handful of plays in practice, and he got those reps. But it's not like Connor and Colton are thinking they're the backups right now. All those guys are competing, just like Luke was before he got hurt. I told you guys at the spring game that Luke was the starting quarterback coming out of the spring, and he needed to continue to compete and maintain that status. And nothing has changed as we go into the preseason, or now that we are in the preseason, I should say.
Ben Portnoy.
Shane, I know it's a little bit of a day-to-day thing with Luke, but what does kind of the next few weeks look like in terms of his rehab and getting him back to full health?
Yeah, good question. He got some of the tests done this morning. He got quite a bit done and got into the facility, I guess, around midday today after he got the results and came out to practice. He was in uniform and was in our team meeting and everything here this afternoon. And then, like I said, he left early to accelerate that process. And really, as we go forward, I'll get back and talk with Clint Haggard and Jeff Guy and the rest of our medical team and figure out the plan. But, based on what it's been explained to me is kind of let him rest that foot here for the next couple of weeks and not have much activity on it at all. And then come back here in a couple of weeks and see where he is. I'm not a doctor. From what I understand, Connor Shaw had a similar injury when he was a player here, and I think Connor came back pretty quickly from it, 2 or 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, and played. So Luke's not Connor, and every injury is different. I understand that, but we got a fantastic medical team, and if anybody's going to come back from this thing quickly, it'll be Luke.
Corey Diaz.
Shane, how much did you guys, push Jason and Colton and the rest of the quarterback room during the scrimmage today? You spoke a lot about situational work. How much did you guys really put on them and push them today?
Yeah, we didn't change anything. I mean, we were it's not like we said, all right, well, Luke's out. We're going to, call 2 pass plays and 3 run plays and do the same thing over and over again. I mean, we did everything. We had the play clocks going just like we would in a game. For the most part, the huddle mechanics and getting the play called and executing at the line of scrimmage was pretty good for the most part. We got to be better, but, we wanted to see how those guys handled that. Everything that we did some no huddle stuff. We did some 2-minute stuff. We did some tempo. We did some huddling. We did a little bit of everything. So to answer your question, we didn't really change much at all. And we wanted to give these guys an opportunity to see, one, what they could execute. Don't get me wrong, but we didn't really scale back anything, so to speak. We ran our offense and we did all the situations and those guys did a nice job with it. We're fortunate that all those guys were here during spring practice. Colton graduated high school early. Jason was here. Connor was already here. So they've been here and they've been repping in practice. I mean, Connor, Colton, and Jason have been repping plenty in practice. In practice, we do a lot of stuff we weren't able to in the spring because of the roster numbers, but we're able to do a lot of work on 2 fields, meaning when we're doing 11-on-11, like team periods in practice, we've got 22 guys on one field going at a time, and we got 22 guys on another field going at a time. And we do that really for those quarterbacks to be able to maximize their reps. And thankfully, they've gotten a lot of reps because of it.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, Shane, outside of today, just what have you seen from Colton and Jason in particular during training camp and the progress they've been able to make over the course of the summer program you guys have had?
I think they've been good. Jason, he knew coming out of the spring he needed to get in better shape, and he did a fantastic job over the summer of running extra, losing weight. His body looks different than what he did. He got himself out of trouble today in some scramble situations and made some plays, which was good to see. So that's the biggest thing with Jason is just his body, how athletic. He's more athletic he's gotten because he's lost some weight. He can move in the pocket a little bit better. And then with him, it's just, understanding the offense and not just what he's doing, but conceptually what everybody else is doing. He makes plays when he's in there. I mean, you guys saw it in the spring game, some of the throws that he made and whatnot. So he produces. He's got experience at the college level starting as a quarterback. So he just needs to get more experience in this offense and what we're doing. And then with Colton, that's probably the biggest thing is just, offensively understanding everything that we're doing. It's different in the springtime. In the springtime, we would practice on a Tuesday. He'd be able to come in the afternoon if he wanted to and watch the video with Sat. Then we had an off day on Wednesday in the spring after practice. He'd watch the video. He could really study what was going in the next day. And he'd come in on Thursday. We'd get ready for that practice and meetings, and then he'd go out there and practice. And you had 15 of them. Now and we're moving every day fast and just trying to keep up with everything and the offense that's coming at him because, we got to get everything installed, red zone, 2-minute, third downs, coming out, short yardage goal line, all the stuff that we have to do in the game plays. We got to get it installed. And then obviously, whatever our quarterback situation is, whether Luke's starting against Eastern Illinois or somebody or Colton or Connor or whoever, or Jason, it's, let's scale back. Let's get what we're going to do. Let's go execute. And obviously we're not going to carry into a game plan every play we have in our offense. We're going to do what gives us the best chance to be successful that Saturday. And as we get into game weeks and things like that, we'll be able to scale back. Going into this week coming up, We've got some situational things. We're going to practice coming out situations, meaning you're backed up inside the fob and we got to get out, because we're in backed up territory, overtime, things like that we're going to continue to work in practice. But once we get through that, going into the scrimmage next weekend, we'll be able to, really hone in on what we're doing.
Hill.
Coach, I was just curious if you could speak to what happened with Karan Prunty and where that leaves you guys at cornerback moving forward now that he's moved on.
Karan came to us and is don't want to get too much into it. Karan's just dealing with some personal issues that he felt like being somewhere else was the best thing that he needed at this time. And we spent a lot of time with him as he made that decision. And, talked to some of his family members last night. I spent a lot of time with him. Derek Moore spent a lot of time with him. A lot of us did. And at the end of the day, we want him to be happy and where he feels like he can be successful. And he felt like he needed a change of scenery, and we wish him well. And where it leaves us, obviously, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you it's great. We're down Cam Smith right now, and we're down a guy that we were counting on to play at corner, but I'm excited about that group. I mean, Marcellus Dial may be the most impressive guy that we've had on our defense this entire preseason camp. I'm so glad we got him. He's been really, 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 really good for us on the back end. Love the way Jalen Foster's playing. Love the way David Spalding's playing back there. RJ Roderick and what he's doing on the back end and showing some leadership with those guys as well. Dom Hill, Darius Rush. I mean, it's a good group back there. We just need Carlin's Platel. It's deep. We got to keep these guys healthy, but we'll be okay. We knew that was a position of need on our roster when I got here, and it wasn't like, Karan Prunty was the only defensive back we brought in. That's about all we've done from the transfer portal and recruiting, it seems like.
What Marcellus has consistently been with that first group when we've been out there. Is it just kind of a rotation next to him, or is there a guy who's kind of been the, steady guy opposite of him?
Talking about the other corner, or are you talking about behind him?
The other corner. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, it's been kind of a rotation. Dom Hill's been pretty consistent and steady out there since spring practice, and we're able to get Isaiah Norris got here the other day, and some of these other guys as they continue to get acclimated. So we're rotating a lot of guys. I mean, I know you guys talked to the defensive players earlier this week, and we've got multiple defensive packages and things like that. So there's a lot of defensive backs out there that are playing multiple positions: corner, safety, nickel. All that. So to answer your question, I'd say it's a pretty good rotation, and trying to figure out, the guys that give us the best chance to be successful on Saturdays.
David.
Shane, what's the latest on Kevin Harris? Should he be practicing this week?
I hope so. He moves around well. He looks good. He feels good. We'll obviously defer, to the doctors, but I think the last time I talked to you guys, I think I told you he was on track to play in game 1, and nothing's changed. He feels great and looks great, and hoping we are, but we also want to be, smart as well. We're still 3 weeks from playing, and there's a lot that we have to get done and a lot to get done before the first game. So hopefully, but if not, it's not like, that's going to be a setback if he's not out there practicing. That's wishful thinking for me.
Ben Portnoy.
Shane, I know some guys have extenuating circumstances when it comes to transfers, but you guys have largely kept this roster intact and haven't seen a ton of guys leave the program since the coaching change and all that. I guess just why do you think that is, and what do you think you guys as coaching staff have been able to do in order to keep guys in the building and bought in, and in terms of what you guys do want to build?
Question. Be ourselves, be real, be honest with these guys. What we say we're going to do, we do. Love them, care about them, and try and connect with them. Forget about the football stuff. And it's really just day to day. We don't change. And what you see with us is what you get. And regardless, whether it's after a great practice, bad practice, good day, whatever, all of us as coaches, every single person we have in our program, that's what we're about. You guys have been in our facility. You see in our indoor and throughout the facility, it's got the word love and then above all else written above it. And that's not just words on a wall. That's what we're about, and that's why we're going to be successful. And it doesn't mean that some guys are going to decide to leave because they feel like they have a better opportunity elsewhere or need a change of scenery. But, I've had great conversations with Jordan Rhodes since he made his decision, and Karan Prunty's family. And I met with Karan. I mean, we had a great talk when he told me why he felt like he needed a fresh start. And I would say, that's the biggest thing, Ben, is just try and be consistent and be real. And when we say we care about these guys and love these guys, it's not just, words because it sounds good. It's the truth.
Mike Uva.
Shane, before today, was Joyner getting any reps with quarterback?
Yes.
And the other question I want to ask you is based off of what Colin was saying, going off more with Colton. What positives have you seen him make these last couple of weeks in training camp?
Connor or Colton? I'm sorry, Mike.
I'm sorry. Copy.
Just athleticism. He's got really good arm talent, and he can throw the football. And that's what I've seen. It's just his ability to make plays, and the game's really fast. I mean, he's going against a really good pass rush every day in practice, and we're throwing a lot at him defensively. It's not like I tell Coach White, hey, when Colton's in there, don't do this. I mean, we everything's fair game. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just trying to get the game to slow down. But Colton is athletic. It's important to him. He's got great arm talent, and that's what I've seen. And then to answer your question about DK, I mean, the fact of the matter is we've got 4 quarterbacks in our program, and I've been places where you'd have 7 on your roster right now. You played college football. I don't know how many you have, but I'm very rarely have I been anywhere where you've had 4. So then you're an injury away from being down to 3. And DK has more experience at the quarterback position than anybody on our team, I guess. I mean, Luke started 2 games and DK's played a lot of snaps. So, frankly, I mean, don't get me wrong, DK's spending 97% of his time with receivers. It's not like he's in the quarterback meeting, but he's doing enough to just, at some point, injuries are a part of the game, and we're probably going to need him. So I think we'd be pretty dumb as coaches if we weren't just repping him there a little bit, not to take away from the wide receiver, because he made some fantastic plays at wide receiver today. We talk a lot about explosive plays on offense. We had some explosive plays on offense today with DK at receiver. And so that's what he is. He's not a quarterback now. He's just, it gives other teams something they have to prepare for. And he's a really, 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 really smart kid, smart young man, football-wise, academically. And I'm so glad he's on our team.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, Shane, 2 questions. Just what's Cam Smith's timeline? When do you anticipate him back on the practice field and ready to go?
Yeah, he's moving along pretty good. I saw him in the walkthrough this morning, and he's normally in a boot just as the foot heals, and he had the boot off and was walking around in the walkthrough like in a stance and trying to do stuff. So he's eager. Don't know exactly, Colin, how quickly exactly. We're still optimistic for him for the first game. Nothing's changed from that standpoint. So we're trying to just accelerate the rehab and get him well, but he's moving right along.
Helmer Graham.
Oh, Shane, one more. Just you mentioned the vertical passing attack needed to get better coming out of spring. Have you seen progress in that through the first week? And who are some of the receivers that have been impressive to you early on?
When I think about, deep balls and explosive plays, Jalen Brooks. He had a heck of a day earlier this week in practice, and give credit to him. I don't know what the narrative was. I guess in the past he had a ball that maybe he dropped or something early in the season or in one of his first games. And I've heard about that. He had a play the other day where we ran a little post route with him and he was wide open and wasn't able to make the catch. And the way he responded from that is he came right back and had, I think the very next day, game-winning touchdown and a 2-minute drive, explosive play in practice. So he's really been he's done a great job. He and DK and Josh Van coming out of spring were probably our top 3 receivers, and I haven't seen anything that's changed that. Really excited about Trey Smith. He's made some really impressive catches, competitive catches this week in practice, and plays along the sideline where he had to go up, and it was a 50-50 ball that he came down with. Like what he's done. Xavier Leggett, big physical body out there that's done a nice job. Rico Powers has flashed, and Peyton Mangrum and Trey Atkins did a nice job in the spring, and they've continued on as well. So I like that group. They're hungry and working hard and nowhere near a finished product. We've got to do a better job of protecting the football. Offensively, the wide receivers, the running backs, and the tight ends, the guys that are carrying the ball. But as far as making plays in the passing game, those guys have made some, and they're going against a defensive back group that's really done a nice job of getting the ball out and creating turnovers defensively as well.
We'll take 2 more, Hill, then Ben.
Yeah, on that subject, I was going to ask if those turnovers you alluded to or mentioned earlier were those products of defenders making plays or kind of like what you were saying, guys needing to be better about protecting the ball and taking care of it?
I would like to say defenders making plays, and I think it was, going back and watching the video. I mean, there was a play today. We had we talk about effort on defense and finishing plays, and I think it was Zach Pickens. We had a play on the sideline, a ball broke out of there, and Zach Pickens, the ball carrier got ready to make a cut, and Zach Pickens took off 10 yards away and came and jarred the ball loose and created a turnover. So a lot of plays like that, when you're a physical defense and you have size and speed and physicality, which is what we want to have, when you get to the ball carrier, you need to get there in a hurry and with, bad intentions and jar that ball loose. And I saw a lot of that today. It wasn't a whole lot of just, carrying the ball loosely or throwing the ball too much to the other team. It was a lot of physicality from a defensive standpoint, getting the ball out. And that was good to see.
Last one today goes to Ben.
Shane, as far as Colton, I mean, obviously in a normal year, he'd be getting here like just around now. How important do you think that getting him getting here mid-year was in terms of where he's at now and for him to be able to kind of compete for reps at the moment with Luke out?
huge. I don't know if he would have had a chance to even be in the conversation if he hadn't been here for spring practice. And don't get me wrong, we're not running some offense. It's hard to understand that our players can't execute, but it's a lot. You know, when you start talking about the speed of the game and the complexity of what you're asking the guys to do offensively, it's different. And that's probably the biggest thing, Ben, is, I mean, if we got to narrow down the offense for a true freshman quarterback, we will. I mean, we'll give our guys what gives them the best chance to be successful and make sure we can execute it. That's called, you know, just being a smart coach. But the speed of the game in the SEC is just a whole different animal. And I say that from experience, having been in other conferences as well. It's different. And the fact that he was able to go through 15 spring practices, go against a really good defense in practice, get a feel for the speed of the game, and then go through the summer and the summer workouts that we had, getting in the weight room with Coach Day and, getting his body from a physical standpoint where it needs to be. That was really, really, really critical for him and critical for our football team as we sit here today.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yep. Sorry to keep y'all waiting, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Steve.